For most of you here today, St. Elizabeth Catholic Church is your parish. You either live somewhere close by or you like coming here. And so, unless you're just visiting today, this is your parish. Now, St. Elizabeth Catholic Church has what we call parish boundaries. Actually, every Catholic parish has this. And it's a territory surrounding the actual building of the church, for which the parish, the church, is responsible for regarding things that relate to the faith. I don't want to get into all the details of our own parish boundaries, our own territory, but it covers most of Pflugerville and even beyond that, especially going south, kind of all the way to Palmer Lane. And so St. Elizabeth Catholic Church is responsible for the evangelization of this whole area. St. Elizabeth Catholic Church is responsible that every soul that lives in this geographical area encounters the Lord, falls in love with Him, follows Him, joins His church, and ultimately, every soul in this area makes it to heaven. This means that St. Elizabeth Catholic Church has a big responsibility because it has to do with the eternal destiny of souls. When I say that St. Elizabeth Catholic Church has this responsibility, now who exactly does this kind of contain, or who am I speaking about? Because St. Elizabeth Catholic Church kind of seems like an abstract thing. Well, the first person that this implicates is Father Juan Carlos, our pastor. The church has authority given by Jesus to appoint a particular pastor to a geographical area and make that person responsible and give this person the authority to evangelize this area. And Father Juan Carlos has been given this authority and this responsibility by the church. Father Juan Carlos is responsible to be the pastor of this geographical area, to make sure that everyone in this area comes to know, to love, and serve the Lord. But of course, it is not only his responsibility, but it's also the responsibility of all those under his authority. And that includes myself as his vicar, his associate pastor, right? And it includes all the Catholics living in this area, which means it includes you. We all together are responsible that every soul in this area comes to know and serve the Lord, that the kingdom of the Lord be established in this area of Texas. And so a couple of things flow from this. Maybe the first thing is, am I aware of this, and do I behave as such? Do I just come to church saying, oh, this is for me, and I receive something, and then I go home, and then I forget about the Lord, and then I come back for myself, and it's just about me and Jesus? But do I see myself as a mission, that I really have been given that responsibility for the spreading of the gospel in this area of Texas, and that I will be held accountable? We as a parish will be held accountable of what we did regarding the spreading of the gospel in this area. So that's kind of one thing, just a personal call to evangelization. The other thing, it has to do with our response to the leadership of Father Juan Carlos. Right? Father Juan Carlos has been given this responsibility, and he sets the vision for this parish. And we, under his authority and leadership, we are to respond, right, to what the Lord inspires him in his prayer, where we need to go as a parish. And there's one particular thing that Father Juan Carlos has discerned regarding the needs of this parish. He has noticed, and if you're involved in the parish, you've noticed this too, that we have a lack of space. We do not have as much space as we need anymore in this parish. If you come here during the weekdays and the afternoons or evenings, even some mornings, you'll always see cars in the parking lots, right? We have religious education. We also have classes for adults. We have prayer groups. We have Bible studies, formation groups for men, for women, catechetical groups for adults, social ministries, opportunity to learn English for those who don't, so they can adjust better to this society. etc. And we're fighting for space because we don't have enough space to spread the kingdom here in this parish, for people to encounter the Lord, to be fed. Because we have so much going on, we do not have enough space. So Father Juan Carlos has decided that we need to build more for the sake of the spreading of the gospel in this area. Some of you may already are aware of this, right? Of the capital campaign that we are currently undergoing for the sake of addressing this need for the spreading of the gospel here in Pflugerville and a little bit beyond. I don't want to get into all the details of the capital campaign, but the first stage of this capital campaign has to do with finishing the second floor of the building we have over there, where we currently in the first floor we hold religious education. And the plan we have for the second floor is really awesome. There's some renderings outside as you go out if you want to take a look at that. There's this big space that can hold about 100 people, so we can have bigger lectures for the whole parish, right? There's also going to be some individual rooms for ministries to gather, again, to meet some of the needs that I was just describing earlier. And again, this is not just space for the sake of space, it is space that the Lord be known, loved, and served. So far as a parish, we've been able to fundraise, which is great, $1.8 million, which is really awesome. But to be able to finish this first stage of our capital campaign, we need to kind of make it to 2.5. So we have a ways to go. Now, these $1.8 million that we have so far fundraised, there's kind of a good news and a bad news to this. We're 4,000 families in this parish. So far, about 10 to 11% have participated. Now, in some ways, this is great news. With only 10%, we have fundraised $1.8 million with 10% of the families. But it's also bad news because it's only 10% of the families in this parish. If with 10% we can get to 1.8 million, where could we go if we had 20% of the families here participating, or 30 or 40%? You're part of this parish and you're already supporting the campaign. Thank you. Amazing. May the Lord repay your generosity. And if you have not made a pledge, today what I want to invite you to just ask yourself is to reflect a little bit on the reason of the why. Why is it that I have not made a pledge? And I'm sure there can be many reasons. Maybe you haven't really heard much about the campaign or haven't really understood kind of what it's about. And here's me trying to address at least a little bit of that. More questions you can ask on your way out. There's some people out there very knowledgeable about the campaign. Maybe you just haven't gotten around to it. And so this is me also trying to address that and to encourage you to make some time to do this important thing. Maybe you don't like the projects that we're doing, or maybe you financially can't help. Whatever the reason, I just invite you to think about the why. Then I want to invite you to take this to the Lord and talk to Him about it, so that you make a decision in the sermon with Him and what He may be inviting you to do. Because this campaign is really not about you, it's not about me, right? It's about the Lord and the spreading of the gospel, right? For all I know, it's very likely I will not be here to see the fruits of this campaign. They move priests around. And yet, because I'm here now and it is my responsibility to help, I've made a pledge. Even if maybe I'll never get to use that building. Because again, it's not about me. It's not whether I get to use that building or not. It's about the needs or the spreading of the gospel right in this parish grounds.
And dies. It is because of the iniquity.
Now, you really can't financially support this campaign. That's totally fine. You can't, and it's not your fault. And so pray and promote the needs for this parish.
He shall preserve his life.
That being said, I do think it's unlikely that 90% of the families can't support it, even if it's just a little bit, right? Maybe, $50 a month or $100 a month, right? Or $10 a month, right? When we really care about something, we commit to it. Think about maybe the car payment you're making, right? Or your Spotify account, or your Netflix account, or your Disney Plus account, your ESPN account, right? Think about maybe the home you're paying, the new TV you just bought that is going to take you a year to pay off. we really care about something and we see the value in it, we commit to it. So are we seeing the value and really our responsibility regarding like, I am responsible for the growth of this parish and to meet the needs? At the end of Mass, during the announcements, I'll give you some more practicals on how you may be able to make a pledge if you haven't made one and you would like to make one. But again, for me, the most important thing is that you see this in relationship to the Lord and that you take this to prayer and make this decision according to His will. And then it not just be just one extra thing that I support or not support, because this does have to do with the Lord. And so whatever decision we make, we have to make it in prayer and in relationship with Him so that His will may be done.